All right. Today we're up at one of my absolutely favorite flying locations lately. It's wide open fields and kind of quasi public space. So like, if I need to ditch, it's like easy enough to just like land and go pick it up. Uh, the weather's beautiful here today. There's next to no wind. It's sunny. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting up in the air. So come on.
All right, so sorry you missed the launch there, but this is me just kind of just after I tested out all my settings, making sure that uh, like my satellite count was staying up and maintaining good level flight and everything on my on-screen displays sort of performing as I'd expect. So yeah, uh, as you can see, I'm getting knocked around just a little bit by the wind as it's starting to pick up. I'm hoping to spend a bit of time out here today, so hopefully it doesn't knock me around too much. But I decided kind of right off the bat if I'm going to go for my distance record, I'm going to really just head out there pretty early on after I've got my settings all configured. So I'm actually running 25 milliwatt output power right now, even though my VTX power level does say level 2 and it's going to bump up to 3 here in a second. I'm just running 25 milliwatt power, and I'll put a little image of the setup I've got on my FPV goggles here. So spend a bit of time on this trip just kind of hunting around with my 5-turn helical antennas that I've got up there. So they're performing great. I highly recommend if you ever get the chance to go ahead and try and build one, or two in my case, because you get great performance out of them and they look pretty cool too. So yeah, I'm maintaining like 45% video reception quality. I can, as far as I can tell, based on the goggles output. But yeah, if you're flying analog too, like these Cobra X's are just fantastic pieces of kit. So, and as someone who wears glasses, they're just all the better. So, as you can see, I'm cruising up. I got a getting up a little bit of altitude here in case anything should ever happen. I have lots of places I can glide down to, and yeah, it's a beautiful day too. Like skies are just stunning, and we haven't had much sun here at all lately. So getting out on a day like this is absolutely fantastic. And down there, kind of in the center of the screen, you can see the canal, and off to kind of the left there is where it goes into a lift lock that you can kind of continue downstream, and it's a pretty cool little system we got going on here, and it's a pretty stunning area too if you ever are get the chance to hang out around here. So, anyways, just we're just about to cross the 2 kilometer mark, and that's good enough for me. I'm gonna head back. I'm pretty happy with that. My signal's still clear as day with the two 5-turn helical antennas. I could have gone further, but I was getting to the end of the property there, and I didn't want to push it too much further today. So I was pretty happy with that, and still probably had a little bit of nerves since this is the first flight of the day. Probably could have gone a bit further. But yeah, no, we're gonna mosey our way back here and fly out over the river and that sort of thing. So yeah, pretty excited about hitting my personal range record today. This long range FPV stuff's super satisfying and a lot of fun just tinkering and building your own planes and that sort of thing. So yeah, if you're flying drones or doing fixed wing aircraft or anything like that, highly recommend you try and get the chance to play around with some long range stuff. Plane I'm flying right now is Zeto HD Drift, like you saw in the intro there, and yeah, it's a super fun little plane. It's a big one. It's like I feel like it's probably almost a meter wingspan, but it with with the foam body and some lightweight electronics, you can run it on less than 250 grams, which here in where I'm living, there's no explicit rules against flying out beyond visual line of sight with a 250 gram or under drone, so that's pretty exciting, and one of the things I'm pretty happy about with the current state of the hobby here. Yeah, and you just have to be careful about the electronics you're choosing. Like, I'm running just a 350 milliwatt VTX, which is absolutely fine for what I'm doing. And if you've got a decent antennas on the receiving end, you can get out pretty far, I think. So 350 milliwatts is totally fine in my instance. On max my range, I'm getting the calculator. I'll leave a link to it in the description. It says I could get up to like 4 kilometers on 25 milliwatt output power, as long as the sensitivity that SkyZone says the Cobra X has, with a negative 98 dB sensitivity, is pretty impressive. So if that's true, it should be able to get out 4 kilometers or so with 25 milliwatt output power. And I could go further too if I decide to crank it up as well, but for my purposes here, don't really need that. So now what I'm doing here, this is a little, maybe I shouldn't have done this, I don't know. Flying out over the river here, a bit risky, but it's fun. Like, on the other side of the river here, you get up these drumlins, these big hills that you see around here. Yeah, just, so I decided to get out, and I'm like, I should probably come back. So it was a nice little quick jaunt over there, but you can also see my speed pick up here quite a bit. I'm going with the wind, so I'm not fighting it so much. I've seen some people's videos with this drift where once you get out there with the wind and you get going, it can actually rip the wings clean off this plane. If you, I think, can't remember what the manual says, but it's something like 90 kilometers an hour, 120 kilometers an hour, something like that. So, and the wings start to flex, and then you're gonna have a bad day. So, yeah. I haven't gotten anywhere close with this plane, but if you got a windy day, I think you could get in a bit of trouble pretty quick with this guy. So, it likes to travel with the wind. So, anyways, that's kind of it. I'll leave you out here with like a couple of cool shots from the rest of my flight. I do a bit of proximity stuff, or as best as you can with the drift before landing it, but yeah, I hope you found this illuminating, and if you got any questions or stories you want to share in the comments, feel free to, and I'll leave you at that. Thanks for joining. Cheers.